Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Great to have you here with me today. Um, Wait a few seconds for people to join, but while we're waiting for them to join, let me just remind you that our chat is open. If any questions at all during the webinar, just let me know via the chat. Or if you're watching a recording of this webinar, you can always send me an email at sam@storychief.io. Okay, I think we're ready to get started now. So I'm assuming you all have heard of our news about our new stories update, probably seen either in our newsletter or you've logged into StoryChief and you saw a pop-up showing you all of these new features. So today what I want to do is I want to really dig in deep, show you everything that's changed, how you can make use of it, how it can improve your overall content processes. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you all, and then we can get started today. So let me see here quick. All right, here we go. So now you should see my screen. If you can't, let me know. If you can't hear me well, also let me know as well. So here we are in our dashboard, and it's the first place where you see a change already. So if you scroll down just a tiny bit here, previously you would see all your recently edited stories, but now you will see two boxes here, pending approval, so stories that are pending approval right now, and also recently published stories. So right off the bat, you can see, what needs to be taken action on, what's still being approved, and what was a whole team just published out. If you want to, you can also click on View All for either of these to go to a filter of just those stories. So it's also really helpful. But I think the main changes are all inside of our stories list. So when we go to our stories page, like so, we will see all of our stories in a much more neat and concise way. So before this update, you just had a list of stories. They were all sorted by most recently edited, I believe. But now you are able to sort things the way you want and do much more. So what we see straight away is that, first off, there are a lot more fields visible to us. So if I see this one here, for example, I see, the title, the status, the language, the approval status, the collaborators, the views, the reads, the campaigns, lots of really useful information here. And what's really cool about this is that you can also toggle these on and off. So we have this button right at the end here. If we just click on that one, we can then specify what we want to see. So imagine if you have maybe a meeting coming up and you want to show all your teammates only certain fields. You can just turn each one on and off. Say if you're not interested in SEO, you can turn that one off. Maybe readability as well. What we can also do, if you scroll down even further, you can also change or display, channels as well. So if I want to see in my list stories published to Medium, I want to be able to easily see that at a glance. I could turn that on and I can see the status of that story on those channels. You can see here, this one is set as a draft, but this one here is published to Medium. So really useful and very fast. So that's how we can view our list, but there's lots of ways we can manipulate this list. So what we can do here is we can click on each of these to change the filtering based on that. So if I want to click on status, for example, I can first group it all. So it would be drafts at the top and then published at the bottom, or vice versa, like so. So you can change that up. Also, sorted by story name as well. Lots of really cool ways you can do that. Then we also have filters as well. So we had the search bar, which we had also in the previous update, but now we can also filter based on different criteria. So if we click on add filter, we can then choose, for example, a title, excerpts, content. So previously, there was no way of doing this inside of StoryChief. You would search for something and it would search based on the title. But now you can really, again, dig in deep and really specify what content you want to see in your list. So maybe we can take a look together at one. So imagine if you want to see all stories that have, for example, an SEO score of maybe 70% or higher. I could type that in. There we go. Click on done. You'll see right away that our stories list is already processing that request. And we can also even change it even further. Say if we want to also, in addition to that, also only show stories that are published more than, say, 60 days ago, we can do that as well. There we go. And now we see a much shorter and more concise list of only stories that actually match both of those filters. And you can keep going, adding more and more filters to really, really only show things that you want to see and care about. That's really useful. And also, if you want to say, again, if you have maybe a meeting coming up and you want to look at your KPIs, know what performance your stories are generating, you can easily filter and show based on that. If you also share the address, the URL to your filter, anyone who has that link can also view the filters you've created. So yeah, create a filter, save it, even bookmark it yourself if you want to, share it to other people, and then that way you can all look at it together. We're also working really hard on a new feature in addition to this, where you can also save these filters. So we'll probably call them segments. So you can have multiple filters, then save them as a sort of preset that you can then check out anytime that you want. Okay, so it's very useful and very fast. What you can also do from here is, just as the previous update, you can also click on these icons to jump into different parts here. So you can edit the story, you can easily view reports. Previously, this was also always via a drop-down menu, but now we have a very easy way. You can just jump in and check out all these different menus very fast. Where else have we made a change? Well, you can also see this in our campaigns feature. So if you open up campaigns now, here we are. Where are we here? If I open up a campaign, sorry, we can see that this filtering is also present here. So if you have a campaign with lots of stories inside of it, you can easily create a filter and check out individual stories inside of that filter as well. Okay, any questions? Again, just let me know via the chat. I've just given a very brief overview of all of the features. Is there anything that you want to see more in depth? Again, just let me know via the chat or via email afterwards. Let me just head on back to our stories list. I want to show a few more examples on how you can use this new feature functionality for your own content. That's a sloth in the background there, as usual. Okay, so I took a little look earlier about how you can use these filters. I want to give you some more examples on how you can make use of this. So I see a question from Bill right now in the chat. Show me some more examples of the report, please. Yeah, sure, Bill. I'll get to that in a little bit towards the end for you. No worries. I want to give you a few more examples on how we can actually use these filterings. I glanced over that a bit earlier, but maybe let's take a bit more look in depth here. So again, you have all these different options up here, but if you scroll down even further, you can also sort by custom field as well, if you make use of that. Also by destination as well. So if you want to just see, for example, stories published to Google AMP, you can do that. You can even say if you don't want to see stories published to Google AMP. So anything you could think of, anything you want to filter by, you can easily do that now inside of StoryChief. If you already have a StoryChief account, which I think you probably hopefully all do, you may have noticed that it's also a lot faster to load. To build this brand new stories list, we had to really optimize our whole back end of the stories list. So it loads in a lot faster, there's less waiting time, all making it easier for you all to easily jump into stories and publish them. So again, filters are very, very fast and easy. Everything else here still works as you've come used to it so far. You can easily create stories from here as well. You can change pages with this icon here. Okay, I think that's pretty much that covered. I see another question here from Randy. Could you tell us a little bit about the social media posting managing? Any idea when it's going to launch? Very good question, Randy. We do not have a release date right now to share. I myself, I'm not even actually aware of when it will launch, but we expect it to launch towards the end of the year. And if you've signed up on our social media page, we will let you know the second that is ready to be announced. Let me just quickly share the link with the rest of you to where that is, so you all know where it is. Let me just find it here quick. Where are we here? I think it is, if I can find it quick. I think our website has changed a bit since I last checked it out. Interested to hear all your thoughts, by the way, on the on the new search functionality. Do you think it's useful? Have you all checked it out so far? Do you have any questions, any comments about it? I'd love to hear any comments you have at all about it, because it is a new feature. We did spend a lot of time thinking of how we can improve the whole experience of the stories list. And I think we found a very good balance. If you have any suggestions, any comments at all, just let me know. We have another new feature today to show you as well. You may have seen it, you may not have seen it. What it is, it allows you to create horizontal lines inside of your stories. So what do I mean by that? Well, let me just jump into a story here. And I think you're all aware now of how to embed content into StoryChief. You do that by pressing enter or going to a new line, of course. So like so. And there's a new icon here that we can check out. So, okay, you could add images, videos, etc. But there's this new divider line. And when you click on that, what happens is that we create a divider inside of your story. What could you use that for? Well, you could use it for, imagine you have multiple sections in your story about different points or topics, add a divider line between them, and it shows to your reader that I'm changing topics or point here. It makes it a lot easier to read. And when you publish your story with these divider lines, they will also show up on your own website and other channels as well. Okay, I think that's more or less all of our new features covered. Again, a bit of a shorter webinar than usual, but I really want to show you all how this new feature works and how you can make use of it yourself. I'm going to answer Bill's question quickly about reports. So some examples of some reports. Let me just do that for you, Bill, sorry. So our reports have not changed with this update, but it's always worth taking a look at them if you aren't quite sure of what they are. So with the reports, you can view your stats of your story. So how many views, how many reads over time, what's the average read time, and also how many leads you've captured if that is present inside of your story. And then you can see on a graph how well that has progressed over time, and also a per channel breakdown. So how well that story has done per channel. If you click on one of those channels, you also get an individual graph as well. Each of the graphs, you can also toggle these settings on and off. So if I just want to view average read time, I could turn off reads and I can just see that. With the reports, you can also share them as well with other people. So anyone outside of your StoryChief account, just share this link with them and they can check it out. Bill, what I'm going to do for you right now is if I share this link in the chat, if you want to take a deeper look at our reports, Bill, just click on the link. And as mentioned, you don't need to log into StoryChief to view that. You can just click on there and take a look yourself. Okay, I think that's everything covered for today. There's still a bit of time left over, so if anyone wants to take a deeper look at anything, now's the time to let me know via the chat. Again, if you're watching a recording of this webinar, just send me an email at sam@storychief.io if you have any questions. I hope you will find this new feature very useful. I know I will personally when I'm creating stories. It's a lot faster, a lot more efficient, and you're able to see much more relevant data than ever before. All right, I think that's everything then. Thank you all so much for joining. Next week, we have a different webinar where we will be looking at how to get started with StoryChief. So if that sounds relevant to you, definitely sign up for that one. Let me just share the link to that in the chat. Here we are. Definitely sign up for that one if that sounds interesting to you. The week after next week, we'll have a different themed webinar. So definitely check out our webinar page from time to time to stay informed. Okay, thanks again. Speak to you all very soon. Have a great day. Bye for now.